As far back as I can remember, I've always been a fan of the slasher. Whether they're good, bad, or whatever, I have an affinity with them. I like the good ones. I really like the bad ones as well. It's something that has just always been my cup of tea. And in the 90s, we didn't really have a great choice of horrors to start with. There were some standouts, but there was a lot of just fodder that just fell into the background. One that really stuck in my mind was Dr. Giggles. Now, I couldn't remember too much about it other than Larry Drake's performance, which I remember being quite fun, and I was eager to go back and check out this lost 90s classic horror movie. And I'm glad to say it's something that I'm glad I'd forgot a lot about, because it really fits neatly into that post-80s slasher movement and just pre-Scream, almost touching on some of the things that Scream touches upon. It has this playful nature about the full movie. The story itself is typical slasher stuff. You have this young boy who was impressionistic. His father was a doctor who started killing patients, removing their hearts because his wife was dying of a heart illness. And things happen, and the boy grows up to become a maniac, escaping from a mental asylum at the start, in a terrific sequence of where you're not actually sure if he's a doctor or a madman, because he's doing an operation. He's talking people through what he is doing. He seems to know all the terminology, until you realise that he has let everybody in the asylum out, and they're all watching him perform this on probably one of their doctors. It's fun. Then we jump into the victims, the group of young kids who are going to be picked off one by one. And you're never going to believe this, but our young heroine happens to have a heart defect and is waiting for an operation. But I'm sure that won't come into play later on. Basically what we have is Larry Drake as Dr. Evan Rendell, Dr. Giggles, who has this tick of giggling constantly as he murders people in ferocious ways, going back to his hometown, which he feels is just generally sick, and he's going to eradicate that virus which is the townspeople, and do it in rather strange ways. But it's fun. It's incredibly tongue-in-cheek as well. You can't help but feel that it has a nice grasp on its horror motifs of what it wants to do, but also its tongue is firmly in its cheek in the way it goes about some of its kills. You have Dr. Evan Rendell who basically picks up his old dad's doctor's bag, but seemingly has rather strange instruments within it. There is a band-aid at one point that's just big enough to go across somebody's face and smother them. We have other ridiculous things as well, but they're all fun and in keeping with the character. The victims, the main sort of cast, are rather forgettable, as you would get in these kind of movies. They aren't very nice people, most of them. They're good to see them go. They don't hang about for too long. We get the typical scenes of our heroine realising that somebody's after her. Some mad doctor is trying to kill her, and as she tries to let everybody know, nobody believes her. She's got some family drama going on at home as well. But basically, it's all about the character of Dr. Giggles, who is pretty terrific. Larry Drake gives a great performance as this character. I would love to have seen a series of horror movies with these ones in it, because it's a kind of oddity within the slasher community, because like I said, it's post-80s kind of slasher movies where they were starting to die off. It's pre-Scream, but it is touching on that tongue-in-cheek tone. It has a great production value about it. This isn't a low-budget horror. You can tell that from the intro, where it's within the cardiovascular system, as the blood kind of pumps round the body. It has all these things going for it, but at its heart, it's just a slasher movie, which I kind of appreciate at the same time as well. Lots of familiar character actors as well appear in this one, and it is a film that, if you're a slasher fan, I can wholeheartedly recommend. I think it's pretty fun. The kills are pretty hilarious at times. Although it has forgettable cast, it's okay because most of them get killed off pretty quickly. And I just wish we'd got a sequel to Dr. Giggles, although I do like the way the movie ends. Have you seen this movie? If not, I think you should definitely check it out. I think if you're a slasher fan, you're going to love it. If you've seen it back in the day, let me know in the comment box your thoughts on this movie, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.